Well, it's been quite a week and I've got to get this off my chest. Being anti-war is a privileged luxury belief, and I am sick of hearing it. Even people who have suffered brutally under oppressive regimes are more than happy to get on social media this week and spout nonsense about how they're anti-war, which of course means that anyone who disagrees with that position is by default pro-war, which is a false dichotomy, and it's childish and dangerous. It assumes that if we just stop fighting, that evil will stop fighting too. Do you think fascism was defeated with roses? Did the Nazis lose because they were appeased through peace talks? The opposite. Appeasement emboldens those who are truly evil. And taking a stand against war is not moral or humane in principle. It's not an honorable position. It's cowardice. And furthermore, it's ignorant and naive when faced with actual evil, because the target of anti-war virtue signaling isn't the side who needs to hear it. The only people these self-declared anti-war voices are speaking to are the rational voices, and the irrational voices who actually create wars, like the Islamic Republic, aren't interested. In fact, they even use these anti-war voices to further their agenda and cover up their true intentions. No one with true genocidal intent was ever convinced by an anti-war activist to give up their ways. Evil regimes aren't disarmed by TED Talks or peace prizes. They're stopped when people are willing to pay the price for freedom. Sometimes someone has to do the hard thing. And yes, I would argue it's better that it be the US than China or Russia, because a globally strong USA makes the entire world more secure and advances American interests and principles, which, while imperfect, are superior to autocratic ambitions of Russia and China. However, if it's Israel that's forced to act as it is today for our own survival, spare me your narcissistic, self-righteous hypocrisy. This isn't about you and your Instagram stories or your political posturing for your friends in academia. This is about life and death. Us or them. And it's not us who chose that. It's the Islamic regime and the ideology of Khomeinism, which unfortunately some Iranian leftists already know and yet still make these grandiose political platitudes to show the world how righteous they are by being anti-war, when in fact this same moral cowardice is what leads to war. There's no justice in tolerating evil. There's no morality in cowardice in the face of oppression, simply because it's not your neck on the line. People who've spent years whining about the Islamic Republic, giving speeches or collecting prizes or scholarships for their work. Yet when push comes to shove, when the regime is actually developing a nuclear weapon, when it's plotting to slaughter me and my fellow Israelis here in cold blood, exactly as we saw on October 7th, now you're anti-war? You're not anti-war. You're by default empowering the oppressor. The fundamental premise of being anti-war negates the reality that when unchecked and with unlimited power, evil people will do evil things. It's very easy to sit behind your iPhone in London or New York and say how terrible war is. It is. I didn't want this war. I didn't want Iran attacked. I lobbied for years for better policy from the West that could have avoided the escalation that is necessary now by promoting a peaceful transition and a regime change in Iran. But instead, the West appeased the Islamic regime and emboldened their terrorist activities. And now you want to complain that we have to do what we have to do instead of laying down to what? Die? Honestly, fuck that. Being a self-declared anti-war individual simply means you're thinking from a place of privilege rather than from a realistic place. And you're too morally self-absorbed to recognize that a price must be paid for the protection of human rights and the restoration of liberty, especially in the case of Iran. It's a fantastical, emotionally rooted notion with zero basis in reality that ignores human nature and the fact that in this world there are bad people who cannot be reasoned with, and the use of force is sometimes necessary. Acknowledging reality doesn't make one a warmonger, it makes you an adult. And standing up to evil doesn't mean you like war. It means that you value peace enough to fight for it. Are you honestly under the impression that Israelis want war? Do you think that we enjoy fighting existential battles with theocratic lunatics? Grow up. Conducting a war isn't inherently immoral. In fact, it is sometimes just. And fighting for your very survival when a barbaric, violent enemy is pursuing a nuclear weapon that would result in the genocide of the Jewish state is, without question, just. We relied on the international community before, and where did that get us? The gas chambers, pogroms, expulsions, systematic discrimination, and dhimmi status. These days, are over. And we will not apologize, because what we're doing is not only right for Israel, but it's right for the entire world, just as it was when we targeted the Syrian reactor and the Iraqi reactor. We aren't asking to be treated differently. We're demanding to be treated the same. Because if another genocidal theocracy was trying to kill you and all of your people, there would be nothing moral about letting them do so. As the Talmud says, if someone comes up to kill you, rise up and kill him first.